Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Y'all, today what I'm going to be talking about is who are the real Jews. You notice that people over in Israel call themselves Jewish. Why don't they just call themselves a Jew? They call themselves Jewish. Not only that, they call the country that used to be called Canaan land, they call it now Israel. So it wasn't even called Israel. So in the Bible, when God was calling Israel, who was he talking to and what piece of land was he talking to? God wasn't talking about a piece of land that's called Israel. God was talking about the people that he calls Israel. So who are the people that he calls Israel? Us black people here in America. Not just in America, but also the people that were in the triangular trade, that were traded in different places in the triangular trade. So that goes for all the stops that they made in England, all the stops that they made in the Caribbean, all the stops that they made in the USA. So who are these people? These people are us in America, us black people in America. These people are us black people in Canada. These people are us black people that are in England. It's us people that are black and Hispanic in all of these black and Hispanic nations, such as Puerto Rico, Haiti, Panama, all of these places where they mixed. They're all Israel, okay? They're just mixed. We're all from the same bloodline. We're all from Jacob. So how is it that these people that appear to be white are in Israel calling themselves Jewish? Okay, because why? In history, we abandoned the land that's supposedly, quote unquote, called Israel today. We abandoned the land, and a lot of history talks about how we had to leave from time to time because people were invading us or going to war with us or whatever they were doing. We would have to pick up and leave, and we would go into Africa. So what I wanted to tell y'all too is in the Bible, Jesus was in Africa. Mary and Joseph had to run to Egypt because I think, the king at the time was killing all the newborns. So they had to run to Egypt. Also, when we watch the movie, The Ten Commandments, we see how, Moses wound up in the Pharaoh's house because they were killing males. So it was something that had been going on in history over and over repeatedly. So we left out of that land that they call now Israel. So who are those people that are in Israel? They call them Khazars. They're from Europe, okay? They're called Khazar Jews. And they're not Jews. And a lot of them will tell you, we're not Jews, but we took on the Jewish religion. A lot of them will tell you, we're just Jewish. All of this time, they were trying to tell us that they were Jews, and they weren't actually Jews. So, it's always been us that were Jews. So who knew that we were Jews? When they brought us over here, they wanted to burn all of our history books. They wanted to burn everything that we had. It had to be a reason for that, There's a reason why they didn't want us to know who we were all this time. There was a reason why people in Africa sold us, because we weren't Africans. There was a reason why this happened. Africa, there's nobody in Africa that's originally from Africa that says, oh, my people have been sold by ship into slavery in America. There was no stories passed down that anybody had lost any of their relatives during the slavery exchange. So the people that told us were not Jews like us. They were Africans. We are Jews. Our skin color ranges from light to dark. And not necessarily just because some of us are mixed with different things. It's because that's our skin tone. Our skin tone ranges from different colors. They say our skin tone ranges from as light as Beyonce to as dark as Wesley Snipes. We would leave the place that they call Israel today, that had just been called Israel since 1949. We would leave that area and we would go into Africa. Why? Because our skin was similar to theirs, because our hair was similar to theirs, but we weren't exactly the same nation as they were. See what I'm saying? We weren't exactly African, but we looked similar, so we could blend in. You see? So a lot of people are saying, well, if the Jews are also Hispanic people, then how do we distinguish them from other Hispanic people that aren't? The ones that are mixed with black, basically. Now, in Mexico, they had slaves in Mexico. So that's why you see some Mexicans that are just dark. You see some Mexicans that are dark because they had slaves there. See, we didn't know that. So there were slaves also in Mexico. So there were 12 tribes, but not all 12 of the tribes of Israel went under slavery. Now, Judah was the tribe that went under slavery, and also Manasseh as well, because they joined Judah. So Manasseh and Judah are the ones that went under slavery, that were taken by ship. So who are the other Hispanic nations that are really Hebrew Jewish nations? Dominican Republic is one. Also Cubans are another. So y'all, if I left out any, please comment below and let me know the other Afro-Hispanic nations. So we're Jews. We went under slavery. Why? Because we were defying God at the time. So it's in Deuteronomy 28, y'all. And Deuteronomy talks about in the Bible how we will be taken by ships, how we will never see our homeland again, how we'll be buried with the cattle, treated like animals basically, and a yoke of iron around our neck. So that's us in America. When we went under slavery, we were buried with the cattle. We were treated as animals, and we had yoke of irons around our neck, meaning we were all chained. And if you look at pictures in slavery days, you would see how they was all chained and they was all hooked up to each other. It was a chain around their neck, and it was like a long, chain going from one person to another, and they was all connected and chains, shackles around their feet, and we was all chained, okay? We were all chained. So why? And in Africa, they have a lot of witchcraft going on, and maybe we were taking on, too much of other people's cultures. And because, God made promises to Abraham, we can't do what everybody else do. We can't make false idols. We can't worship anything other than the true living God. So we went under punishment, but not that God was okay for white people doing all of what they done. Because they weren't supposed to do all of what they done. And they will be repaid for what all they've done. But God allowed it because of whatever it was we was doing at the time. You see what I'm saying? Whatever we was doing. So y'all, also in Africa, in Ghana, there's a place where T.I. had visited, and it was the place where they had sold slaves. It was a great big old building where they had kept the slaves, and where it was terrible. But y'all, Google when T.I. went to Ghana, y'all. So now the question is, where are all of the 12 tribes? If we were only just 2 together, where are the rest of the tribes? They settled in Africa. There's a lot of tribes in Africa that are Hebrews, and they speak Hebrew, and they know that they're Hebrew, and they'll tell you that they're Hebrew, and they have stories of where they come from and who they are, and they'll tell you that they're Jew. Okay, so we got that down. So not all Mexicans are Jews, because not all Mexicans mix with black, but there are Jews in Mexico. You see what I'm saying? So they say that the Native Americans are Jews. So I can't say all Native Americans are Jews, because not all Native Americans are mixed with black. You see where I'm going with this? So the tribe of Manasseh made 13 tribes, which we know there's only 12 tribes, because Manasseh was a son to somebody that broke off and made his own little tribe, but then he joined back with Judah, which makes it still 12 tribes. So where are the other 11 tribes? They're in Africa. So we know that the Bible says Jesus was from the bloodline of David, which was the bloodline of Judah. So the Bible says he's the Lion of Judah, which means King of Judah. So Judah was the tribe that was responsible for praise. Judah was like the lead tribe. So Judah was the leaders of the tribe. So if Judah was the leader and responsible for praise, the other tribes had different responsibilities as well. Okay, so we got that down. So when they burned all of our history books and all of that, why did they want to do that? What was the reason for that? So the people that they call Jewish in our nation in the USA right now are the most rich. Why? Because they were the ones that had the slaves in slavery days. They were the ones that mostly had slaves. So they acquired wealth over time from having slaves. So what's been said is some of these same people that enslaved us, that are supposedly Jewish, went over to our land and took over our land as well, which is what they call, quote unquote, Israel. So the Bible talks about fake Jews. So who are these fake Jews? They're rich. So a lot of them are basically running the world right now. They're considered the elitists. So the Bible calls them the synagogue of Satan. And we know that Jews, quote unquote, Jewish people, when they have service of whatever service that they have, they go into a synagogue. They don't go into a church. They go into a synagogue. So what is the punishment to those who have done us wrong here in America? Okay? Because we see what happened in Egypt. Okay? This country was blessed here in America because of us. We were the Jews that were among you. Okay? We were the Jews. While people like Hagee and all these other preachers are saying, oh, we're sending Jews back to Israel. We're bringing the Jews back home. The Bible says God is bringing the Jews back home. He didn't say Hagee was going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Who are they bringing to Israel? They're not bringing the true Jews to Israel. They're bringing Khazars. So basically, I said all of that to say this. If you're African American in America, you're not African. And it don't even feel right rolling off of my lips saying that I'm African. All I can really say is when I identify myself is I say that I'm black. So all that I said in this video was to say this. When God sees all of us, he sees Israel. When he sees the Hispanic nations that are Afro-Hispanic, he sees Israel. We're all Israel, okay? We're all from the same bloodline. So y'all, thank you for watching this video. Thumbs this video up, like and subscribe, share with a friend, and God bless.